And this is what we're here for. Third date. I'm going to go through the third date and then we're going to take our break. And then we're going to go through that fun little ending that I was telling you about. I'm excited. Save and continue! Be generous and kind to everyone. He's your neighbor! How have you not spoken to him? I haven't spoken to Robert since that night we drove out to his thinking spot. Read masturbation spot. He seemed unusually somber then, like more so than the usual amount of somber that Robert is, which is already a lot. I've been thinking about him and hope he's doing okay, but I've been a little reluctant to reach out to him. Carousel. Hey, Carousel. Guess who's getting their drink on tonight? I look at my dad, but I love Robert very much reminds me of like golden retriever boys, men, I don't know how to who has just like been around the block too many times. Like he's so excited every time he messages Carousel. He's like, hey, Carousel, Carousel, hey, Carousel. Like he's fun. He's fun, I promise. I take a look at my dad book messages. There's a flurry of them from Robert. Yes, it's you. Also me, but mostly you. Want him to like me. I type back to Robert. Robert, buddy, tonight we ride. Yes, meet me at Jim and Kim's at 8 p.m. Not that I'm unappreciative, but I think this is the first time that Robert's given me more than an hour's warning before hanging out. That he's learning. He's getting better. More and more. Better. Amanda. Amanda pops her head into the hallway. Music I don't recognize blaring in her room. What's up? I'm hanging out with Robert later tonight. Hanging out. Okay, cool. Robert, who is my friend? I have friends. I'm happy for you, Dad. People enjoy my company, Amanda. Dad, I'm so happy for your continued development as a human being. What are you listening to? Sad shit. Ugh, no. What would Grandma think? Well, I don't think she cares for the Smiths that much, but I figure if we started her off on meat murder, she'd ease her way into it. No, honey. Language. Oh, she'd hate that. Just promise me you'll lighten up a bit. For Grandma. Amanda goes back into her room and turns up the volume to her sad shit. Ah. I put on my going out coat and walk. Whenever we're with Robert, we put on our going out clothing. I put on my going out coat and walk over to Jim and Kim's. I spot Robert leaning against the brick wall, smoking a cigarette. As I get closer, I realize he looks a little different. Cleaner, I guess. It actually seems like he combed his hair and his clothes are less wrinkled than usual. Hey. Hey. You take a shower just for me? I'm working on my relationship with existence. Oh, oh God, I feel that. I feel that real hard. Like right here. I feel that real. You cut me deep. Both stand there for a second and don't say anything. Robert finishes his cigarette and abruptly goes inside. Follow him. By the time I get inside, Robert's already at the bar ordering 2 whiskeys. I spot a booth in the back and claim it for us. Robert slides in and hands me a glass. Okay, so not to toast. Doesn't like the silly as much. To us, feels a little... So, okay, if we do to you, like he just said the whole thing of I'm trying to be better with existence. So to you is saying like, good job. Good job, you deserve this drink because you're doing better at being nice to you. Here's to your continued existence. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's the other thing. He very much pretends not to, but he likes attention. He likes attention. We all do. Like, to a certain degree. We might not all want people to be like fawning over us, but we all like that little bit of like, you're doing good, you're looking good. Thank you. We clink whiskeys and I watch him sip his, rather than his traditional approach of slamming the whiskey back as quickly as physically possible. So, what's the plan for tonight? Hit some other bars, maybe grab some pizza. I think that'll kill some time before we go burn down that old abandoned house in the woods. It's definitely not as fun if it's abandoned. Mary pops over the back of the booth, a glass of wine in her hand. She punches Robert in the shoulder. Do we get to have the joy of Mary's company the entire night? Where was my phone call? Sorry. Figured you were busy sinking your teeth into some poor sap. I am. He's right there. I look around the booth to see a guy sitting across from her. He waves meekly. You replacing me with the new kid? Mary, I could never replace you, whether I wanted to or not. Mary leaves her booth and slides in next to Robert. The guy she was sitting with looks mildly relieved. She eyes Robert's clean-pressed clothes up and down, suspiciously. What? You got a court date coming up? He looks handsome. He'd never convinced. Okay, so this one feels like the playing along, and so I think he'd like that one. I want to tell him he looks handsome. And we did just say like he likes it. He likes getting that little bit of like attention. He'd never convinced the jury. But this is playing. And Robert likes Mary. So joining her in on the joke is good. We would have had to shave first. Seriously, though, what's up with you? Robert stares down at his drink, suddenly looking serious. It's happy. Doctors say it's cirrhosis of the liver. I told that old bag of bones to quit. I told that old bag of bones to quit it with the sauce. But it's all he's ever known, especially since Ma's gone. So I invited you out tonight. Didn't want to be alone. Oh, come on. Carousel, don't be an asshole. You know the one thing Robert doesn't joke around about is his pappy. Whoops. They're giving him 2 months. I gotta help him straighten out his affairs. Robert, I'm so sorry. Robert takes a long look at his whiskey, eyeing it in the dim glow of the bar lights. I look at his life, then I look at mine, and I know history is just doomed to itself. Oh my god. I'm just kidding. He's retired with his new girlfriend in Acapulco. They watch the sunset every night, probably screw like donkeys. Wait, aren't rabbits the ones who screw a lot? Oh, sorry. Didn't realize you were an expert on which animals screw a lot. Please stop saying the word screw. Robert finishes his drink and slides it away from him. He gets up out of the booth. Me and Carousel are gonna hit bricks. Coming with? Mary casts one last glance at the sad sap she's been hunting and downs the rest of her wine in one gulp. This place is dead, anyways. We exit the bar and find the typically empty street filled with a small crowd of people. At the front is a guy with a really deliberate attitude and bad posture. He carries a lantern that he shines up at his face for dramatic effect. What's going on? Is it the Dover Ghost? Looks like one of those walking ghost tours. They do that in this part of town all the time. I've always wanted to do one of those. You know all of the stories are fake, right? Pretty much all of my stories are fake. This is research. Robert makes a beeline towards the back of the group. He turns around when he notices that I'm not following him. Come on. We can't just crash it, can we? Don't be such a square, Carousel. Act like you belong. Robert sidles up to the tour group. I reluctantly fall into step behind him. Well, here goes nothing. Oh, no. No. And he's still sad, Master Quinn, because we didn't fix his marriage. Hey, it was in this place in 1694 that the most famous witch hunt trials ever were held. To date, we do not know if the people burned at the stake were actually witches, but it is widely reported that their ghosts still haunt this helpless dive bar to this very day. It was actually 1692. What? And the site was over by the coffee shop down the road. I'm sorry. Who are you? Daniel McSturgis, ghost historian. And this is my colleague, Dr. 80s, 90s, 100s, contemporary. Not contemporary. But Carousel makes a lot of 80s references already, so... Yeah, I think no matter what I picked, it would have been good. Dr. Loomis, paranormal investigator extraordinaire. We're touring America's most haunted locations as research for our new book. You may have seen our guest cameo on Paranormal House Hunters Extreme Edition. A couple of people in the group start nodding. Robert's good at that. Like, I love this idea of just being like, yeah, you've probably heard of us, and people just like, yeah, no, of course we've heard of them. They're really great. Are you guys part of the group? I don't remember seeing you at the first stop. We like to keep a low profile. Easier to catch ghosts that way. Because ghosts don't like famous people. It's true. They've definitely been here, standing next to them the whole time. So Mary is going with us. Thank you, random lady whom I don't know. As I was saying, the epicenter of paranormal activity can be found at the Coffee Spoon, right over there. I want to know if he, like, is Robert saying this so that Matt will get more, like, more traction into his establishment? Or just to screw with him because, like, he knows the person who works there, and so, like, he can mess with him. The man who runs it has been plagued by hauntings since he signed the lease. Damn near driven him mad. But whatever you want to say is cool, I guess. It's your tour. Look, Quinn is already on a very, very rickety mental, precipice. Like, we don't need to pick on him. Man, didn't know that about Matt. He's lying. Wait, Robert's making this up. Robert's making this up. The rest of the tour group listens intently to Robert's every word. I think the tour guide can tell that he's losing the group. Seems to be getting flustered. Thank you for your contribution and knowledge, Mr. McSturgis. Let's move on to the next haunted location. Robert, Mary, and I follow the group down the street. The tour guide's shirt is... It is, isn't it? That's a very cool t-shirt. I like that. I like that shirt. Yeah, everyone in the group gets one if we make it to the final location. I turn to Robert and grab him by the shoulders. I need that shirt. Well, guess we're in this for the long haul then. Let's follow my lead. Don't arouse too much suspicion, and we'll have cool ghost shirts in no time. They should have changed the shirt that he has. Because, I mean, it's not... But, you know. Our group arrives at the old, decrepit, colonial-style house. A quick pause in the tour. My name is Quinn, but most people on the ghost tour circuit call me Tour Master Quinn. I'm a DJ, trivia master, and part-time actor. I do private ghost hunting events, birthday parties, MC bar mitzvahs, and perform traditional vaudevillian mime work. Tour Master Quinn gives out headshots to all of us. His resume is on the back. Stage combat experience? Anyway, here's a little bit of history for you all. This was the home of noted American author Dorothy Pembridge, whose prose was wildly popular in the 19th century. Sorry for the voice crack. It was in the attic of this very home where she wrote such classics as The Diaries of a Victorian Mistress, Lady Fitzwilliam's Courtship, and The Ghost of Sea Captain Reginald Berkeley. That might be Berkeley. She unfortunately died of consumption shortly after the turn of the century, but several people have reported that on some nights you can see a light from the attic where the ghost of Miss Pembridge continues work on her latest bestseller. I guess you could say that was consumed by her, that she was consumed by her work. You are, and that's okay. We still love you. Sad Master Quinn. No reaction from the crowd. This guy needs to work on his dad jokes. Actually, consumption is a popular cover-up. Little known fact is that it was a murder-suicide. Pretty sure she died of consumption. Sure. And we definitely didn't hire Stanley Kubrick to elaborately fake the moon landing. But that's the watered-down, censored version they teach you in school. If you can't handle the real story, I understand. It's not for the faint of heart. I think everyone would much rather hear what this world-renowned ghost historian has to say. Right, everybody? The group murmurs in agreement. Oh, yeah. So sad, too. This is a topic we cover extensively in our book. Dr. Loomis, would you care to tell this story? Riff something highbrow, go with something I know, or rely on my amazing improv comedy skills. Okay, it's not this, because that's how we become Sad Master Quinn, is we rely on our amazing improv comedy skills. Robert would not like highbrow. So something I know. I'm hoping. I don't like how vague this is. In the 19th century, Dorothy Pembridge was credited for protecting New York City from potentially world-ending paranormal forces. Despite her success, her ragtag group of ghost hunters were disbanded by government officials. However, after learning that the ghost of Vigo the Carpathian has taken an interest in her son, her and her ghost-busting friends launched a mission to defeat the ghost and once again save New York City. That's that's just the story of Ghostbusters 2! Hey, isn't that the plot to... Nope, it's not. It's Ghostbusters 2. It's Ghostbusters 2, and I hate that immediately, as soon as I read that, I could picture that, like, huge, like, they have that big picture of Vigo. The tour guide sees this as an opportunity to take back the group and addresses us with some razzle-dazzle. Ah, what an interesting story. Now, I just want everyone to know that the next location is extremely terrifying. If anyone thinks they can't handle it, feel free to excuse yourselves. Right, I'm bored. Mary turns to a young guy looking at his phone and taps him on the shoulder. Hey, kid, fancy buying a gal a drink? The guy looks up at her and smiles. Oh, only if the bar is haunted. Honey, I can show you the most haunted place in town. It's her fascine. I think I could exorcise your demons, if that's what you're looking for. Don't write checks your dick can't cash, kid. Most haunted place. Most haunted. His eyes go wide, and Mary salutes me and Robert. It's that sound that's going around right now where it's like, glory, glory, what a hell of a way to go. She suddenly pulls me into a hug and murmurs into my ear, I don't want a hug from Mary. When you've known Rob for as long as I have, you know when something's wrong. Keep an eye on him for me tonight, okay? Sure, Mary. Good man. Mary pats me on the back and pulls away. She takes the guy's hand and leads him down the street. Take it sleazy, fellas. She's doinking around. She's doinking around. God help that poor soul. Mary or the kid? Both. Our last stop. Oh, hey, we had a date here with Damien. Our last stop, this burial ground, is such a hotbed of horrifying paranormal activity that I'm not even sure where to begin. Oh, sorry. There's the wailing ghost of the Wharf Man, the vampire of Maple Bay, the children of the moonlight. What about the Dover ghost? By this point, the tour guide is clearly irritated with us. What about it? Oh, nothing. I just think it would be a crime to come all the way out to this cemetery, the actual origin of one of New England's most notorious paranormal entities, not even mention the infamous Dover ghost. That's not a real thing. That's absolutely not a real thing. I think someone needs to brush up on their paranormal history. I know tons about paranormal history. I know every ghost story in the area. I can guarantee there's one you don't know. Robert looks over at me and smiles. Would you folks care to hear the tale of how Loomis and I met? No. The entire group shushes the tour guide. Okay, fine. Fine, tell the story. Well, it was a dark and stormy night. I wasn't always a paranormal investigator. Way back when, I was just a Bible salesman, traveling grifter, or carnival. This one isn't that far off. This one isn't that far off. Again, I think that was one of those, like, no matter what I picked, moving from town to town, always looking for my next mark. It wasn't an easy life, but I had fun. Taking from the rich, giving to the poor, actually also taking from the poor. I had a shaky moral foundation. I happened upon the quiet town of Maple Bay quite by accident. But little did I know that this city has a dark side. Now, about the same time, I was just starting out as an apprentice to a rather famous ghost hunter, who was an old family friend of mine. I carried the equipment, operated the EVP machine, all that. Wait. Yes. Who was the famous ghost hunter? Well, I don't like to name drop, but Georgia Mathers. Tour group gasps. Georgia Mathers? She's a legend. You know her? Knew her. Amazing woman. Died mysteriously. Miss you, Georgie. Anyway, we were in Maple Bay investigating some reports of strange lights and sounds coming from the cemetery late at night. Now, we had been warned by the old crypt keeper that this place was highly dangerous, but Georgia was never one to shy away from an adventure. We camped out in the center of the cemetery for 3 nights straight. We endured your so-called wailing watchman. Wailing ghost of the Wharf Man. Whatever. Your stupid vampire was just a teenager in a mask. But the Dover ghost... Man. Tell him, Loomis. So there I was, just walking back to my hotel after a long day of selling by. Nope, because we didn't do that. Working a shuffle of court cons or running the dunk tank. Okay, we have to stick with our story. Only got hearts. Like, if I classic pigeon drop scam, putting out feelers for a rip deal. I was gonna steal a baby, probably. Would have made me rich. Oop. I found myself walking past this very cemetery. Now, I was never a very superstitious man, but something seemed off. I could hear some sort of commotion happening deep within the graveyard, and I felt compelled to investigate. Thank God you did. Georgia and I were conducting a seance in the mausoleum. At first, things were pretty normal, but after about an hour, everything went south. Playing back the EVP meter, we were able to hear a single word. Run. The air suddenly went cold. Something was very, very wrong. I just knew we weren't alone. We started to hear this faint, distant scraping noise, like something being dragged across the ground. It got louder and louder until it was deafening, some kind of demented howl. And then I felt it. Someone, something, grabbing my ankle. Robert has the whole crowd hook, line, and sinker. You could hear a pin drop. I've only cried twice in my life. Once was at the birth of my daughter. The other was when that thing started dragging me. I wasn't sure where it was taking me, but I knew it was no place I wanted to go. I was sure I was going to die. The moment I crossed the gate into the cemetery, I heard this god-awful screeching. I ran into the mausoleum just in time to see a man being pulled across the floor by... God, to this day, the mere thought of it ties my stomach into knots. It looked like a man, but like... Glance at Robert. Like someone who didn't know what a man was supposed to look like tried to put one together. The arms were too long, its eyes glowed red. It was like a walking shadow. What did I do? What any good person would do. I lunged for... What was his fake name again? Daniel McSturgis. Daniel. I remember things! I grabbed his hand and entered into a tug of war with the unholiest... Oh. So this is thinking. I thought I was going to be torn in half. But I had God on my side. The pocket Bible I always kept on me fell out of my shirt pocket, and to this day I can remember what passage it opened up. Okay. Leviticus, that's like rules. That's like you can't wear clothes with like... That's where supposedly it says, can't be gay, but actually it was supposed to be pedophilia and all that kind of... That's the like big list of rules, so it's not that. Revelation, random fact, Terrell's favorite like section, basically about how the world's going to end. The dragon with the 9 heads and horns going off and stuff. So I don't think it's those two. Ecclesiastes? I don't even know that one, but Austin isn't one. Like, Austin isn't a real thing. So, like, I know it's not these two. I know it's not that one, so it's gotta be that one, right? Like, it's gotta be the one that I just don't know. Then shall the dust return to the earth as it was, and the spirit shall return unto God who gave it. So, that's where, like, to dust and to dust you shall return came from? Is that how that works? I have no idea where Robert pulled that verse from. Okay, so maybe he just makes it up no matter what we say. But, with a horrifying growl, the entity finally relented. Daniel and I collapsed onto the ground, exhausted. We were both covered in blood. Oh. Sorry. That damn creature clawed into my chest. Got me real good. I didn't read the rest. Robert pulls down the collar of his shirt to reveal a long, wicked scar across his pecs. That's how I got this scar. Show me! Show me the scar! Please! I followed Georgia Mathers to the ends of the earth, faced exorcisms, demons, poltergeists that threw our equipment across the room, but I had never seen Georgia so scared. Never the same after that, and neither was I. Watching what happened to Daniel and Georgia shook my faith, but I came out of that experience a better man and a better friend. We've been brothers ever since. I don't know about brothers. I don't think brothers. The tour group gives us a round of applause as Robert, and I share an emotional hug. A brother hug. A brother love hug. As he embraces me, I can smell the cologne on his neck. Wow. Robert does clean up good. Want to know what it smells like. Find myself lingering a little too long. That's not brother love. That's not brother love. Make space for Jesus. The tour guide seems to have bought it. Even he's wiping a tear from his eyes. Thank you. Thank you. It's an honor to be able to share our story. Be sure to watch out for our book. Paranormal Excursions of the Supernatural, Ice Road Ghost Truckers. I Saw a Demon, the shocking true story of seeing a demon. I hate that one. The Bro's Guide to Hottest Ghosts. That's not it. And I hate that one. So it's, I mean, and we always do the Ice Road Ghost Truckers stuff. Yeah. Robert has to suppress a laugh at that one. Well, I think you both definitely earned your t-shirts. The tour guide hands us the coveted t-shirts, then slips us both his business card and leans in close. If you guys are ever in need of a professional actor, balloon animal artist, Elvis impersonator, or nude model, please don't hesitate to contact me. I don't want you as a nude model. There are so many hot dads, and then you've got Sad Master Quinn. Got it, buddy. After a couple of tourists take selfies with us, we split away from the group and walk home. That was incredible. I really can't believe they bought all that. I didn't know you had it in you, Carousel. Excuse me, Dr. Loomis. That bit about the pocket Bible was aces, although giving the Dover ghost glowing red eyes was a little cliche. And the Kubrick conspiracy theory bit wasn't. All part of the character. Well, we got the shirts out of it. We arrive in front of Robert's house. Wanna have a drink? Is that even a question? We're not, nah, I'm getting out of this. Oh my god, what if we can never sleep with him? Or else, like, this one feels the most like Robert. But at the same time, they have burned me once. I know where this goes, Small. I know the steps. 1 second, I'm sipping delicious aged scotch. The next, I'm foaming at the mouth and you've taken over the throne. Long live the king, baby. Okay. Just... Please. Please. Robert leads me inside. I can't help but think about what Mary said to me. Robert did seem a little bit off, but that completely disappeared when we were joking around with the ghost tour. I don't know. He's hard to read. While I'm thinking, I hear claws skittering across the floor. Oh god, it's his pit bull. I'm about to be torn to shreds. I shut my eyes tight and brace for impact. Betsy, hey, be nice. I don't feel anything but tiny paws scratching at my shoes. I open my eyes. Oh, did you see that? Did you see it? Betsy? Whoa! Robert's dog jumps away from me, running around in circles and sniffing Robert's legs. He pats her on the head. Hey, that's not a pit bull. That is the cutest, dumbest Boston Terrier I have ever seen. Betsy, you're not a pit bull. And you weren't taken by the Dover ghost. Betsy's made of tougher stuff than that. Ain't you, girl? Betsy rolls over for some well-deserved belly rubs. I just keep a picture of a large pit bull in my wallet in case of emergencies. Comedic emergencies. We make our way back to Robert's living room. For a quiet man with arguably the oldest pickup truck that can be legally driven, his place is amazing. There are sleek, modern appliances throughout the room with a big flat screen TV mounted on the wall. He has shelves upon shelves of DVDs. Guess he wasn't lying about being really into cinema. Honestly, I mean, Carousel really likes movies too. This is a perfect match. Let's be honest. He pours us both glasses of whiskey from a well-stocked bar in the corner, while Betsy curls up on a pile of cushions. So, how'd you really get that scar? And don't tell me you got it fishing for Alaskan king crabs in the Bering Sea or something. You trained me too well. Robert laughs and takes a sip of his drink. My daughter and I were riding our bikes, and I hit a rock, flew over the handlebars, and then we went to the hospital. That's it. Not a very interesting story. I've never heard you talk about your daughter. Well, I have one. That's her. He points at a picture on the wall of a very serious little girl with dark eyes. Yep, it's definitely Robert's daughter. How old is she? 5, 6. Not too sure. Does she live around here? No. Belle lives back home in Brooklyn. Works at some new media online magazine thing. Makes buckets, though. Suddenly seems really serious. I probably shouldn't press him about it. You like Santana? I do know Santana! I mean... Yeah. Robert puts on Santana, then takes a seat on the couch next to me. He suddenly downs his drink in one gulp. Hey. You alright? Robert leans in, kisses me. The taste of whiskey burning my lips. I'm surprised at first, but slowly relax into his arms. Pulls away slightly, his lips barely brushing against my mouth. Now, can't say anything. At best, managing a sigh. Robert leans in again, kissing me harder. He pulls my bottom lip between his teeth and bites lightly, sliding a hand under my shirt. My heart pounds in my chest as he lies us both down on the couch. He kisses a trail down my neck, his teeth grazing my skin. Oh, wait. It's not that. Robert bites down, and I stifle a moan. Stop. Robert stiffens up and pulls away. No biting? Like, yeah, first of all, like, let's lay down some ground rules. What's on and off the table? No, I'm more than okay with that. Something's up. Robert runs a hand through his hair and looks away. Fine. I've just been kind of stressed out. Tired. Not a big deal. No. You don't just jump a man and then like expect to be able to be like, ah, it's nothing. This is nothing. Listen, I want this as badly as you do. But I know something's wrong. I need to make sure that you're okay. Yes. Yes, because that's how you start a relationship. Robert stares at the ground. You don't know me that well, Carousel. I'm not. Listen, Takes a deep breath. I spent my whole life only taking and taking, and now here I am, an old broken man sitting on top of a pile of everything I've ever taken, alone. But I want to know you. You don't have to keep hiding behind fake stories, acting like you don't have feelings. It's sighs heavily. Val visiting tomorrow. She wants to patch things up. Are you I'm sorry, but is this a bit? No. When was the last time you saw her? Or months? I sit up straight. Jesus, Robert, what happened between you two? I don't want to talk about it. Robert and I sit in silence, neither of us wanting to look at each other, both of us unsure of what to do next. Fine. We're already bad between us. I cared about her. I always did. Things just got in the way. And before I knew, she was leaving for college, wanting nothing to do with me. Marilyn and I moved out here to settle down. Thought it would help get away from all the distractions, all the money, drinking. But station gets to you. I tried to be better, but I just couldn't. And then accident changed everything. I think every day about how she must have died hating me. I never became the better man that she wanted me to be. One she always saw. She was the last thread Val and I had connecting us together. I didn't know that when I lost my wife, I was gonna lose my daughter too. Robert, I spent so much time chasing after things I thought were gonna make me happy that I ruined my only real chance at happiness. Now my wife is dead and my daughter hates me. Then I convinced myself that this, he gestures vaguely in my direction, was gonna make me happy. Why do I even try anymore? I'm so sorry. I know how hard it is to. No, don't. How could you possibly know how this feels? You did everything right. Your daughter loves you. You're a good person. I was a terrible husband, and I'm an even worse father. I have no idea why she's even bothering to contact me now. It's gonna fuck it up like I always do. I'm broken. And go. Robert puts his head in his hand. Tell him what he wants to hear. Tell him what he needs to hear. Oh, we're not walking away from this. Needs. Needs. Nothing is going to change until you do. Robert pauses. He looks at me. There are a lot of things in my life that I regret, that I wish I could take back or do over. And it hurts so much to know that I can't. But what I can do, and what you have the privilege of doing tomorrow morning, is to wake up and try to be a better person than you were the day before. Things aren't going to fix themselves tomorrow or the next day. And patching things up with Val isn't going to solve all of your problems either. But nothing is going to change if you don't. And you can't love anyone else until you stop hating yourself. I like that. I should have kept that up, but I like, so the whole you can't love someone else without loving yourself, that's never sat right with me because like you don't have to love yourself to be okay with yourself. You don't have to like you can be willing to change things or want to get better, things like that. But if you hate yourself, that's when I feel like love can be an issue, is when you absolutely hate yourself because you're not seeing who you are, or you need to change that fundamentally. So I like that. I like that line. And you're right. I don't know you that well, but you have the same capacity for good that we all have. You can find it. Val's giving you a chance. Waste it. But Robert, listen to me. It's gonna be okay. But I lean over and embrace Robert, pulling him in as tightly as I can. He buries his head into my shoulder, hugging me back. Be okay. Place a hand on the back of his head, stroke his hair. He shudders and sobs, and I realize that he's crying. Thank you. Stay there for a while, holding each other. Both eventually drift off to sleep. Dad tip, don't skip the corners. Wait, we don't get to do the do. Thank you, Daniel, Avid Daniel. Taped sports, potty humor, paranoia, whiskey again. Mary, lies. Oh, my throat is getting so scratchy just from Robert. Like, Robert's voice gets so deep. Okay, we're gonna skip through again because it is an ending. Okay. I walk over to Mary, who's having a lively conversation with Amanda. So this is the only way that, like, we can have a good relationship with Mary. Otherwise, it's just kind of like, haha. Listen, kid, you're gonna need some real life skills out there if you're gonna make it out on the streets. I'm I'm going to college. Same thing. Look, I know you're not old enough to drink, right? And I know you're smart enough not to drink until you're of legal age. Uh-huh. But hypothetically, if you were to drink, it'd behoove you to drink a glass of water between rounds. Got it. Hypothetically. And if you wake up with a headache, all you gotta do is take a jar of pickles and drink the pickle juice. You're gonna be fine. What's going on here? Girl talk. Mary turns back to Amanda. Now let me tell you about how to deal with a bad roommate. First thing to know, you get straight A's if they die during the summer. Or during the semester. Oh boy. Oh boy. That, not exactly, but okay. Mary! Relax. It's a myth. Supposedly. Against my better judgment, I just leave them be. Oh. Yes, I don't know why, but all of a sudden, like, I just teared up a lot. Like, goosebumps, teared. Oh, that hit. I don't think I recognize that girl by the snack table. I should go say hello. I know exactly who that is. Those cheekbones, them eyes, that. I know exactly who that is. Let me. Oh, okay. I don't think we've met. Oh, we've met years ago. I'm here for my revenge. You're Robert's kid, aren't you? Spot on. I guess that makes you Carousel, huh? Yeah, it's nice to meet you. I'm glad Robert brought you along. Promised there would be free food, so that's kind of hard to pass up. And look, I don't know you. Can I get real with you for a sec? My old man's a real closed book, you know? Me and him, we got a long way to go. You don't erase decades of neglect in a week. You sure can get tired of staying angry about it. That kind of bitterness, it poisons you, I think. I'm too young for that. Anyway, lately he's been better. A lot better. Between him shaving for once and how much he talks about you, I get the feeling you have something to do with it. So, Robert, not to me. Glad he's getting better. Just keep an eye on him while I'm not around, okay? Or else. What? I'm kidding. Or am I? I knew it. I don't know. I don't know why I'm like this. I know. I know why you're like this. I think it runs in the family. I mean, you pick up humor. Like, that's a thing that I've noticed with my son is like, he 100% has my sense of humor. Like, and it's stupid. And it's the stupidest thing. But he's so good at it. Amanda trots up to the conversation. I want you to mentor under her so that you can be the coolest kid ever. Hey, I love your necklace. And your hair. And just, geez, your whole vibe is cool. Thanks. I like your jacket. My girlfriend collects pins too. Lesbian. Oh, this is my daughter Amanda. Amanda, this is Robert's daughter, Val. Nice meeting you. I heard you're a photographer. Aspiring photographer. I'm going to school for it. You take pictures? Yeah. Then you're a photographer. Welcome to the biz. Val hands Amanda a business card. I was right. If you're ever looking for internships, shoot me an email. Anyway, I need to go make friends with that woman over there who's dual-wielding wine glasses. Catch you later. Val walks away. She's so cool. She gave me her business card. She touched my hand. Congrats. You just networked for the first time. I am a regular business lady now. Quarterly projections, stock market synergy. Well, you're making a fortune as a businesswoman. I gotta keep this party going. Catch you around, Pops. Looks like someone's been waiting to talk to you. I glance over to the backyard, where Robert is sitting on a bench beneath our cherry blossom tree. He smiles at me. I'll leave you to it. Me and the Emmas are going to get ice cream. Love you, Pops. Amanda runs off to join her friends. I wonder how, like, all of that turned out, because she just starts hanging out with them again. Like, we hear that they fight, and that's where it ends. I take a seat next to Robert as the last guests make their way out of the party. Hey. Robert gestures vaguely to the snack table. Good stuff. Yep. So, I had a chance to talk to Val. She physically threaten you? Yeah. That's my girl. She said you've been doing better. Trying to work on the vices. I also showered today. Sit in silence for a moment. No. Every day, for me, is a battle against my own self-destructive habits. But lately, it's gotten a little easier. Thanks for talking some sense into me. It's hard to get things through my thick skull sometimes, but what you said that night actually helped. I'm glad. Like you, Carousel. I like you. I haven't felt this way about someone in a long time. I lean in and kiss him for a moment before he pulls away. Takes my hand in his. Special. But I have some stuff I need to work on, emotionally, before I can get into anything romantic with you. You deserve better than who I am. Be on my own for a bit. Figure some things out. Of course. I think what you need right now is a friend, and I'm very happy to be that for you. That means a lot to me. And if you're ever ready for more than that, you know where to find me. Literally next door. You could open the window, yell out, "I want a good dickin'," and I'm there. You know where to find me. Let's hunt ghosts sometime. I would love that. Put my head on his shoulder. Watch the sun slowly dip below the horizon. Together. You're never too busy or important to be kind to others. So we romanced, and okay, so like, I'll admit, when the heartbreak of Joseph happened, I was like, I looked it up, and I wanted to see, you know, was there anything else that we could do? Did we? And I learned that like you could get the bad ending or the better ending. Bad ending was like what we got, where he was just like, "I'm gonna stay with Mary." Better ending is, "I'm breaking it off with Mary. We can possibly have a thing after that, but I need to work on some stuff." And in there it said like you can't have a fully happy ending with Robert or Joseph. And so I wasn't sure exactly how Robert would turn out, because like, you know, you could like, was it just an all out no or something better? And this, I'm perfectly fine with this, because I understand, like, you gotta work on you, and he definitely has some issues, especially like it's implied but never stated that he probably does some of the harder drugs as well. Like it's not just drinking. So yeah, absolutely. Like get to a certain point and then date. Like don't feel like you have to push it. So romanced Robert, my favorite rat man. Do we get a picture? Do we get a picture? Oh, this is a little whittled dog and Betsy. I love it. I love that rat man. Also, I want, like, I'm looking around to see. I think it would have been great if they just had, like, a generally human like figure in the background, and it's like the Dover Ghost. It's the Dover Ghost. Ah. Okay, it is noon at this point, and so I want to take my break. And when we come back, we're going to do the cult ending. Stick around if you want to see more. Bye.